Welcome to my book review of The Wild Dark Shore. So this is my favorite book I read this year, and I'm gonna rate it a 5-star. It's about a family who moved to an island off of Antarctica, and they have lived there for about 8 years. The reason I rate this book so high is because the way that the author wrote this story was so poetic. So this lady washes up on shore, and the family discovers that there's some secrets that she has and that they have, and they're there to protect and be the caretakers of a seed bank. So the main lands are on fire, kind of in natural disasters, and so they have a seed bank to basically preserve all of the different plants so that if everything wipes out like in an apocalyptic way, that they could replant and regrow and have food. So lots of stuff happens before the story is written. So there's a ton of things that you feel like, there's holes here. Like, why are they there? What are they doing? Why is nobody else there? There's all these empty like hospitals and places for people to stay. And then you start seeing some connections. So there's some mystery involved as well. There's 3 kids that live on the island with their dad, and they lost their mom. So he's been taking care of his kids, holding the family together, and really trying to process the grief that he has of his dead wife. You notice that there's a lot of struggles that the family are going through. The older daughter, 17 years old, she lives down at the down where the seals are, and she doesn't actually live in the lighthouse with the family. And in the beginning of the story, you do wonder, like, what is going on with her? Why is she living down there? Is she a natural, rebellious teenager just needing some separation from her family, or what is going on? The young boy, he's 9, so he's basically lived there his whole life. He's really into plants. He loves protecting the seeds, and he's worked with some people that were on the island prior to where this story begins, helping them discover, or not discover, but helping them, organize and take care of the seeds. So he knows all the seeds. The relationships that the kids have with the natural world is such a beautiful thing to read about. The way the author wrote this book, she describes really what it feels like to live in such a wild, cold place that, again, her writing style is super descriptive, but in a way that keeps you wanting to keep reading. I wouldn't say this is a cheap thrills type of book, but there's some underlying mystery that does keep those pages turning, but I never felt like I was like a prisoner to the book. Sometimes when I read like cheap thrill books, I almost feel imprisoned by knowing what's next, but I felt really satisfied by reading a couple of chapters and then putting the book down. And it actually took me about a week to read, when honestly I read books within like 1 or 2 days if I'm like really hooked. And so it was really surprising to kind of take a whole week to read this book, to be in the end going, this is my absolute favorite book. I love it so much. And it's not something typical that I would normally read. It's about a family living in Antarctica and protecting seeds. Like, why would that be my favorite book? It's not up my alley, my genre. I love fantasy, I love contemporary, but yeah, it just fell right off the beaten path. And I really have to give credit to this author because of the style in which she wrote this book. One, made it really like meditative and easy to read, but then also very invoking. It invoked emotions, and it has, dealing with grief and dealing with self-discovery and becoming a man, becoming a woman, and what it's like to live in a world where there's natural disasters and fires. Where I'm at right now in Washington, while I'm reading this book, my hometown is on fire. And so it gives some like real life parallels of like what is happening now. And it is a little more extreme where they have a little bit more of a feel of the end of the world. But yeah, the way that the author ties into like the natural world, the animals, the sea life, and this book of what's happening in this, fictional story is so beautiful. And the relationship between man and animal was really a powerful read. So if you, along the week of reading this book, I've had many people say, oh, I've been recommended this book. How is it? Like, would you read it? Is it worth reading? Yes, it is worth reading. 5-star, favorite book of the year. Would not have guessed it. Honestly, it was recommended to me a couple of times. And typically when I get 2 or 3 recommendations, I'll read the book. But yeah, at first glance, reading the back, it's about Dominic Salt and his 3 children are caretakers of Shearwater, a tiny island not far from Antarctica, home to the world's largest sea bank. Shearwater was once full of researchers, but with sea levels rising, the salts are now finally needing to leave. When a mysterious woman washes up on shore. Isolation has taken a toll on this family, but they nurse this woman, Rowan, back to strength. Rowan, she's accustomed to protecting herself, starts imagining a future where she could belong to someone again. Rowan isn't telling the whole truth, and neither is the Salt family. Along this journey, you find out secrets are being told, and not just the woman who washes up on shore, but the family as well. And you're not gonna guess what happens, because I sure didn't, but I always like to try. It's a novel of breathtaking twist, beauty, and love. It's about an impossible choice and how to protect the people we love, even in a world that is disappearing. And that is just a perfect description of this book. So 5-star, recommend, check it out. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I drop my videos every Thursday for book reviews. So yeah, come back and check it out. Thank you.